Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Deep Hobbing. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about import functionality present in Python, which means you can import your previously written code into the new file or the new task which you have just started. And it is one line of code. You can obviously copy all the codes from your previous task into the new task which you have just started, but that won't be efficient. And this is just one piece of code, this Python import functionality. By doing so, you can actually access to all the code which you have already written previously. We're gonna see in the example. But essentially, you can not only import your own task, but also if somebody has written a very good code and share it in the GitHub or in any other repository, you can essentially download it to your local machine, then import it to your new code. And the way you can do it by using pip. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about the import functionality, the intuition behind the import functionality, and we'll see the couple of example. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk about pip, how you can install a package or install somebody's task and import it into your new piece of code. So before we go and see the example for import functionality of Python, let's first discuss about different way you can execute a Python file. I know we have already talked about two different ways to do that. The first one is the Python shell, where you write line by line each code, execute the first line, then move to the next one. And the second way is to just write like this one in a POI extension file or Python file, then save this file and run it, and the Python will take care of going from one line to next line, and you don't need to worry about this one. But if you run it from the Python shell, you need to write the first line, then execute it and move to the next one. And Python shell is generally very good when you have one or two line of code and you want to see the quick result, just do it. And and if you have more experimental thing, like you are not sure yet and you are trying to find out the best way to do it, so the best thing is to first create a PY extension file, then write all your code, execute it like the way we did it, then see if it is working, not working, if it is working good enough, if it is not working, then change the code, do it again. Once everything is fine, everything is finalized, um, you can obviously come here and run it by using F5, but that's not efficient and it will kill the whole purpose of automation. And the way you can do it by using the exe file. So in so if you go to your Python directory where you have installed the Python, in my case, I have installed it. Let me open this one and paste it here. And this is the file python.exe what you are looking for. Once you reach there and double click it, you will land on this Python exe command line prompt, and it is the same thing as Python shell. You can write all your code line by line, execute that one and move to the next line. Once you are done with this code, all your code, you can write exit, um, open and close parenthesis, or if you are in window, use Control Z and enter. And if you are in Linux, use Control D and enter. In that way, you will exit from the Python exe. And you can access this exe from your command line. So if I haven't told you yet, you can access your command line and you can access Python from your command line. So go to your command line prompt and type Python. In that way, you will land on this Python command line prompt, which is nothing but the Python exe file that been executing. And here also you can use the same thing as Python shell. Once you're done, use Control Z, enter to exit. So right now we are at the command line, because here you can see the extension where the directory where my command prompt is as of now. If you are not very familiar with the command line, I would strongly encourage and recommend you to first learn that one. It's a very essential thing if you wish to be a data scientist. Uh, or else it doesn't matter. I will create a few videos for basics of command line, and whenever it is required, I will give you the intuition and the code. So don't worry about that if you don't have any experience on command line. So this is the directory as of now. So where exactly my pointer, if you remember our mouse, where our mouse exactly right now. So this is the directory. So we can go upward, backward, or access any file within this directory or the path. So to execute any file, in our case, I want to execute this file, this module1 py file. To execute this one, so first I need to give the full path to the Python exe file, and in my case, it's this one, python.exe, then space, then the path to the full path to the module1 py file. So now if I will just go ahead and run it by using enter key, now it will execute it. And just be careful, if you have any space or special character within the path, you need to keep everything within the double quote. Just in our case, it doesn't be the case, so that's why I'm keeping it I kept it open. In other way, you can change the directory by using the cd, and cd stands for change directory. And I want to change directory from this one, from user smooth to debugging basics of Python LT16. And in that way, I don't want to write the full extension, the full path to the module1 py. I just need to keep module1 py, that's it. And you can essentially access all this previous written code by using up arrow key. So just press one time up arrow key, you will access the first line. Double arrow key is the second line, and so on and so forth. So I will go and edit this line, and I will delete everything till here, and will keep only module1 py. And when I run it, it will execute the same way as it was been executed earlier. So this is all for where you can execute a Python file or Python code. But there is one more way, which is import functionality, which we're going to talk right now. And to give you that example, so here I have created two files. So module 1, which we have already seen, and module 2 is this one, which is blank as of now. Now I want to run the module 1 from module 2 py, so I can do that using import functionality, import, and literally type the name module 1. And don't need to keep the extension py, it will automatically take care of it. The Python will automatically take care of it. Now if we'll just go ahead and run it, you can see uh, this line is executed, which is not a part of module 2, but rather part of a module 1 py extension Python file. So in this case, I'm accessing the module 1 from module 2 by using the import functionality. Okay, now let's go back to the lecture 15 and copy all the code from there and paste it here. So we have created, if you remember, we have created a class employee and the class tech employee, and let's copy that one and paste it in module 1 py file and save it. Now let's go back to the module 2, and right now as we are importing the module 1 from module 2, that means all the code from the employee, this class employee, and the class technical employee will also available in for module 2. So if I will just copy this thing and paste it here. So what we are doing here, we are creating an instance emp of under the class employee, and we are passing the argument first name, last name, and the month pay, and then we are accessing the method of email from the emp instance. Then we are printing the email ID attribute of that instance emp. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you can see there is an error, and it's showing there is name employee is not yet defined. Why? It's because when you say import module 1, that means you are actually importing or accessing, running the module 1 here itself. Now when it moves to the next line, everything, all the code, all the class, all the function, everything what defined under module 1 has been executed, and then in the second line there is no more sign of module 1. That's why there is nothing called employee in the second line, and that's why it's throwing me an error. You can ignore, you can avoid this error by using by importing a particular class. So you can do that by using the keyword from module 1. What we want to import? We want to import class employee. Now, if I will just go ahead and run it, you can see the email ID is being printing. That means this code is executing perfectly fine. But if I will just go ahead and do the same thing for a technical employee, it will obviously, as expected, it will throw me an error. You can also access two or many classes from the module 1 by using comma as a separator, and you can access the second class temp employee. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you can see there is no more error, and the email ID is printing for both employee as well as for technical employee. Now if you remember my previous lecture, we have talked about static method, and there we have said static method present within the class, even though there is it doesn't take class or instance as an argument, still it's present within the class. That's because it has some significance relevance to the class. Also, if you define everything under this one, this a class, you need to import it once, like here we do once, and you don't need to like for example, if you would have been define this thing, this static method as a different function, you need to use additional line uh, to import that function into the module 2. So there's a one extra additional line of code which you can avoid it by defining everything under this class, and once you have to import employee, you can access to each and every aspect of the uh, each and everything, like all the methods and attributes of this class employee. Okay, now going back to our import functionality, you can also give a different name. So I know employee is a very big name. I don't want to keep this name. So I can change it to employee as, which is the keyword as. We can use it to give a different name. So I can say EP stands for employee, and technical employee I can put it as TEP. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see there is an error. Let me zoom this one. There is an error. It's because right now there is nothing called employee. We have changed the name of employee to EP. So here I will change it to EP, and here I will change it to TEP. And if I will just go ahead and run it, you can see it is printing the email ID. So the point which I want to make it here is where you are running the Python file, whether you are running directly from the file itself or you are importing from a different file, it matters. And right now we are doing it manually. That's why it is intuitive, and it is very clear to us that where we are accessing the file or the code. But when you do it programmatically, it has become very difficult. And to avoid such circumstances when you do it programmatically, there is a nice functionality which we're going to talk about right now. Is called name variable. So to demonstrate that one, let me delete everything till here from the module 1, and here I can say this is module 1, and value for name var var is equal to dot format, and I can say name. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, oof, there is some error. What's the format. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you can see this is module 1, and value for name var is main. So this is the variable name that Python sets to main whenever it is run, when you run directly from the file itself. So this is the variable. Python by default give it a name, value to this variable, which is main, in case if you run directly from the file itself. Now, if I will just access it from module 2, let me delete everything till here and access it from module 2, you can see this is module 1 and the value for name var is module 1, not main 1. So if you are accessing from a different file using import functionality, the name variable will not be main anymore. Okay, and and to showcase you more, I have already written a program which I will just paste it here. And once let me paste, then I will explain you what I'm doing. So here, if the name variable is equal to main, the string value main underscore underscore main underscore underscore, then print this is module 1 and run from module 1. Else, if it is if it is import from different file, then obviously the won't be name variable won't be equal to main. It will be the module 1, and in that case, the else condition will execute and which will print this is module. This is this is module 1, but run from module 2. So now if I will just go ahead and run it right directly, you can see this is module 1 and run from module 1. And if I will just access it from module 2 by import functionality, you will see this is module 1 but run from module 2. Okay, let's pause it here, and in the next video we're going to talk about how you can download and install a package from the internet using a pip command. And if you have any question till now, please feel free to drop your comment and question in the comment section of the YouTube, or else as usual, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your likes and subscription. Until next time, cheers.